Hey there, and welcome to the White Canvas podcast, where today's question that we're going to be asking is how do you find a good team or the best team to build a website for you? For today's podcast, we have Nicolas Pisani, and he's going to be sharing with us some of the tips that he's come across during his experience at White Canvas for finding the best team to build a website. Nicolas Pisani, welcome to our second official podcast.
Okay, Basilia, thanks a lot for having me. I'm pretty excited about being here and recording this podcast. Hopefully, we can help some of the audience out there to pick the right agency or solution for them.
For sure, for sure. I'm also excited to be here and be sharing these tips for finding the best team. And with that, let's just jump right into it. What do you say?
Let's go for it.
Awesome. So I know that you work for a digital agency and you probably get this question all the time. I know since I started working with White Canvas that people have just been coming up and asking, hey, I have this really cool idea and I want to build a website. How do I get started? How do you answer this question?
Creating a website or a digital product is like starting any new project. And for that, you need to understand what the goal is behind the project that you're embracing or starting. So what I'll say is, all right, if you are creating a new website or a new digital product, understand really what's the goal behind that product that you're creating or behind the website that you need to create. I mean, it seems obvious, but sometimes people just say, hey, I need a website because everyone else has a website. So yeah, I feel like getting the goal right there, even writing down the goal and the why you are creating the product or the website, it's key for this project or for starting something out.
So how do you help someone identify their goals? Do you like sit down with them and take out a piece of paper and a pencil and then say, okay, like what is your goal? Or like, how do you do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times they don't know the goal, but deep inside they understand the why or what's the goal. So what I'll do is like probably jumping on a call with them and trying to start asking questions about their business, trying to understand what are the different opportunities that are out there and how a website or a digital product can help them grow their business or can help them in a positive way. So it's mostly, yeah, discussing about the business and with that in mind, getting our expertise and pointing them out or guiding them in the right direction.
So there's definitely like different websites out there. Like what are two types of websites that like most people have questions about? In other words, there's definitely an element to websites that they have sort of like an e-commerce, but then there's also an element of websites that focus more on like blogs, for example. So how do you sort of like guide the people in this in identifying the type of website that they would need?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you say, I mean, there are a lot of different type of websites out there, and depending on the business, the needs might be for one type of website or for another. It's like choosing your ride. You know, you may need a car that goes super fast because you need to go from point A to B as fast as possible, or maybe you need a four-wheel drive because you are in the middle of nowhere and maybe like a Jeep is the right fit for you. So choosing a website, it's pretty much the same. I mean, if you're trying to sell products online, for sure you'll need to go with an e-commerce store and creating that experience. If you're looking to maybe elevate your brand or improve your brand awareness, you'll have a really cool, sleek looking website that will showcase your services, what you do, your credentials to help you out to help you out selling your service.
Got it. So I mean, I guess if I was in the middle of nowhere, I probably would need like a 4x4. But I
Exactly.
do yeah, but I do like hiking, so maybe I do need to like think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, there's definitely like this. Um, Sorry, I just have to collect my thoughts. Yeah. So once I guess you help the person identify their goals, right? Like suppose they say, hey, I'm not gonna live right in the middle of nowhere where I need a 4x4, but I might live like pretty close to a place that maybe in the winter they would need a 4x4 experience. But that's just for like automotive purpose examples. Um, how do you, I guess, explain to the people that come asking for just your opinion or your thoughts, the different options that are available for building such a website?
Cool. Yeah. So, well, again, if we continue with the car scenario, whenever you need to buy a new car or to create a new website, you need to define a budget, because that it's like you need to understand how much money you have to spend, and then with that in mind, you can figure out all the options out there. So in the web design business, you have a lot of different options, and nowadays there are a lot of solutions that pretty much help you out create your website, and like anyone can do it. Probably you've heard about some of them, like Wix, Squarespace, Shopify for e-commerce store. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube that guide you through on how to create a website in 1 hour or less with those solutions. So that's one option. And if you don't have the budget to go ahead and hire a top-notch digital agency, that might be the right solution for you. The other option probably will be hire a freelancer or someone to help you out with this. Maybe someone that has a bit more experience about how to use these tools, maybe some design knowledge, or they already done this for other clients and they can walk you through with this. The only problem with these, well, for everything, it's like ups and downs. So that's everything in life. So you can hire, maybe you find a unicorn and you can hire just the perfect freelancer that can do everything. But on my experience, they are either experts on design or really good at coding, but finding this perfect match between design, coding, SEO, marketing mind, or business strategy, all the stuff is really complicated to find in just one person. So that's the downside about hiring a freelancer, but probably they have more knowledge than you do, and they will be cheaper than a digital agency. So that's maybe a good solution for a lot of persons. And the third solution, for sure, it's like hire a digital agency, basically a business or a team of people that already are experts in what they're doing. They have experts in design, experts in development, and experts in SEO, and help out with the full process. It's going to be the most expensive solution. The things that I've pointed out are from cheapest to more expensive. But again, depending on the budget that you have, you can go with one option or the other.
So what is an example of someone that might actually use a freelancer, and then an example of someone that might actually say, hey, I need a full team of a designer, a developer, somebody to do QA testing, a project manager? What's an example that you've come across your experience?
Yeah. So again, everything is going to be about the budget, and I'll strongly just suggest, like, unless you're like, if you're starting a new business or something, like, unless you have received some funding or you have a lot of cash that you are willing to invest towards the website, a lot of business start bootstrapping and trying to find their way through. So what I'll suggest is, like, if that's your case, then try to find the cheapest solution out there that gets the ball rolling. So so you don't, like, whenever you start, you don't need the perfect website unless you are creating something that it's all about the experience and the digital experience. But I don't know, if you are starting like a new restaurant, you may want to have a website out there to say, hey, this is our menu, this is what we got here. But you might not need to hire like the most expensive agency out there to create the perfect website. But it's just showcasing the menu, and that's the goal, and that's the objective that we were talking about earlier today. In the other hand, if you already are like a business and you already have some money in your pocket that you are willing to allocate to marketing, then you can start thinking about more expensive solutions, like hiring an agency to help out with the website build, and trying to think and help you out define the like a more long-term strategy and how this website it's going to help you grow your business. I mean, I think those are the two different cases. And I feel like the freelancers always like fall somewhere in the middle of these two solutions. Maybe you're just starting out, but you are, I don't know, like if let's say if my dad need to build a website for himself, even though if he has not a lot of money to spend, he won't be able to create a website using Wix. Doesn't matter how easy it is or whatever, he won't be able to do it. So for him, maybe the right choice is to hire a freelancer that can help you out, set up a website pretty quick, and have something out there for a fair amount of money.
Got it. So it seems like freelancers are somewhere in the middle of like do it yourself and then the most expensive option, which is a digital agency. But there's definitely different types of digital agencies out there. Like what are, like if you had to group the digital agencies in two buckets, like how would you group the digital agencies?
Cool. So yeah, I mean, as every business, digital agencies are businesses, and they probably have different type of business models. So there are some agencies that are more looking or shooting for quality work and trying to sell less work at a higher rate and trying to make that really good. And there, on the other hand, and the opposite extreme, you have the other agencies that they just need to have quantity. So they are trying to create as many websites as possible, and they don't spend the time. They don't spend a lot of time in each website. So again, probably the first one's going to be a lot more expensive than the second one, but at the end of the day, I feel like the results will show for themselves. I mean,
so given that that's the situation, right? It seems like you're almost comparing like the quality versus the amount of quantity that's being pushed out. I mean, you know, there's definitely in products out there that these types of business models, and that's totally fine. But how do you, like, I guess, what do you look for when you're like, I guess, narrowing down or filtering down the digital agencies that you want to work with? Like, what are like two things that you definitely want to take into consideration about proceeding with a potential digital agency that you would recommend to someone?
Yeah, so again, like it's like all these decisions are super tailored, need to be super tailored to your particular business. And it's not the same if Coca-Cola is looking for a digital agency than if like this new restaurant in town looking for a new businesses. So probably Coca-Cola will look for a bigger agency with more brand recognition, with a lot of employees, and with some, with just a bigger agency that can say, hey, like, I know we will trust these guys because they are a team of 2,000 people and they've done some pretty cool work. On the other hand, if you are a smaller business, then probably if you go to these type of like these bigger agencies, first of all, they're probably going to be more expensive just because they have like a lot of overhead of like teams, structure, different branches on different countries, and all the stuff adds up to the final scope of work or the final quote that you'll receive for the same work. So if you are a smaller businesses, I would probably suggest going for a smaller agency, maybe a medium-sized agency. A small to medium-sized agency might be the right fit, where you have a team in place. Probably you'll be able to reach the owner of the agency. Probably you're gonna have a more personalized treatment. So yeah, I always feel more comfortable working with these type of agencies. At White Canvas, we work a lot with other agencies in collaboration. We help them a lot with the development. So we found that this, like maybe the 20 person agency or something like that, it's like the sweet spot where you can do a lot of great stuff, but you can meet or chat with the CEO or the owner, and have a direct line with them.
Awesome. So like, how does the, like, I guess the question that I'm trying to figure out is like, how is the experience with a smaller agency in a way better? Like, do you guys do you remember the client's work a lot easier? Like, are you able to pull the files and the data sets to sort of, you know, drill into into the website a lot faster?
Yeah, like to be honest, we've been in business as White Canvas for 7 years or something like that now, and I feel like I remember all the clients that have passed through White Canvas. Like with some, for sure, I worked more closely with them, but yeah, at least if someone names a client, it'll ring a bell, and I'll remember what we've done with them and that. I don't feel like that's the case on the bigger agencies. So you're more like a number probably.
For sure. And I know that this can happen. I mean, everyone has a cell phone, or most people have a cell phone, but we always get like notifications to do updates and stuff. How would you describe the experience with a smaller agency versus like a bigger agency in terms of like doing like updates um, for the website?
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, probably if you go with a smaller agency, they'll remember the work that you've done. Probably it's easier for them to jump on the project again if they created that your project. On the other hand, the bigger agencies, they tend not to grab or work with small scope projects. So if you need just like a small update or something that is less than a team of people, they'll say no. So yeah, I don't know. Like in my experience, there are agencies out there that I say, all right, we will only sell you a team of people. So if you want to hire us and you have this project, we will allocate like one developer, one designer, a part-time QA, a project manager, and this is gonna cost like this amount of money per month, and that's how they roll. So if at some point you need to do a change that let's say it will take like 60 hours or so, that it's not the full team, sometimes they'll say no, and that's kind of complicated, or leave you in a complicated place.
Oh boy. That's a pretty good insight.
Yeah.
I guess the last question for our podcast today is, what's a good place to go and find the right team to build your website?
Cool. So yeah, for sure. First of all, Google. It's always a good source of information. Then if you're looking for designers or you're more focused about design and you really want to see some portfolios or stuff, Behance is a cool social network to review. You'll find the different agencies based on the work that they've done, or even freelancers. So that's cool. And then there are there's a website called clutch.co where you get listed of all the different type of digital agencies, whether you're looking for web designers, marketing, iOS developers or whatever, and you can get a sense of some reviews, some rates, even the locations. So yeah, that's another good place to look for it.
Awesome. Nicolas, do you feel like I maybe should have asked a question that I didn't ask in this podcast? Is there a question that you might want to ask?
That's a good one. I mean, no, the thing that maybe I haven't expressed or I haven't discussed is like in these pricing options, you have like you can right now after COVID, I mean, the world have shifted a lot, and everyone's working remotely, or not everyone, but a lot of businesses are working remotely. So I feel like you can, one, while you're trying to figure out what's the best agency to work with, and with your budget in place, sometimes you need to consider that there are a lot of really good talent outside the United States, or outside like UK, or these hubs where the workforce is super expensive. And you can look for agencies offshore or freelancers offshore, and you can get a really good work, a really good quality work for a lower rate. So that's something that I think it's going to start growing more and more moving forward, like looking for talent offshore and trying to be more globalized about that particular service.
Awesome. I felt like that too, though. Like when I was doing researches on like different digital agencies, like what I noticed is that there would be an office in New York City where there would be a project manager, a developer, a founder, um, and then I would see something like some of the developers would be in like Costa Rica, and I know that that's a pretty big hub spot for developers. But I was also I was pleased to see that Buenos Aires, Argentina, like also had that tech hub. So it's nice in a way that um, you know this I guess distributed work environment is really like taking shape. And
Yeah, for sure. And again, I mean, it's we can not give any names, but we work a lot with digital agencies in New York that are sending over the development part to us here in Argentina, and we're helping with that at a maybe better rate that you'll find in New York. And yeah, and the end client wouldn't know that the development is happening somewhere else. And we've been working also with Europe, and yeah, I mean, it's right now it's pretty easy to work from with people across the globe.
yeah, for sure. I part of me feels like that's going to continue developing. But do you see anything that might sort of hinder this distributed type of work environment
So something like that. And that what? Sorry.
that might, I guess, stop or yeah? Do you see anything that might stop people from working remotely in such a way?
No, to be honest, I feel like this is something that it's to stay. I mean, it's just more efficient. I don't know, like business owners, everyone's looking for the most efficient ways of doing things. So I feel like this working remotely, it's something that is here to stay, and companies itself themselves are shifting around their business models to have different offices around the globe, and maybe hiring people. For instance, let's use United States as an example. But just today, I spoken with a colleague of mine that he's hiring a lot of people. That some team members are in LA, other team members are in Florida, others are in New York. So from that to hiring someone in Buenos Aires or in I don't know, Spain or whatever, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, thank you everyone that's been able to join our podcast and listen in. We hope that you had a wonderful takeaway. And Nicholas, thank you for your time, of course. And we wishing everyone a wonderful day. Thank you.